Ross Chastain clawed his way to a second-place finish at Texas, but lamented Trackhouse's lack of consistent speed. What's going on at Team Trackhouse, and what may happen next? How's it going, y'all? My name is Eric. Welcome to Out of the Groove. Happy Monday, folks. Power rankings coming up in a few minutes. I took some big swings this week. We'll talk Trackhouse and some potential troubles here in a moment, but first, some news real quick. Jesse Love announced today he will make 2 additional Cup Series starts this season for Richard Childress Racing. The Xfinity Series regular will compete at Kansas this coming weekend. He'll also run Richmond in August. The 20-year-old California driver sits 4th in the Xfinity Series points currently. He's made 2 Cup starts so far this season, made his debut at Bristol a few weeks back, and then ran Texas yesterday, spun out in Stage 3, unfortunately. Clearly, the kid has some strong sponsor support. Richard Childress Racing, Chevrolet, believe in this guy, want to get him as much Sunday experience as possible. I'm a big Jesse Love fan. I'm a big believer in his talent. I think he is a legitimate championship contender on the Xfinity Series side, but the Cup Series car is a completely different beast. We saw at Rockingham, that number 2 may have been illegal, but he could hang out and drive a loose race car fast. That's not really how the Cup Series works these days. Veterans have said you drive the next gen more off the right front than you do the right rear, so he's going to have to adjust his driving style to a degree. Think he has a bright future. Glad he's getting some early Cup Series experience. In other news, last week, remember Joey Logano and his Penske teammate Austin Cindric were at odds over how Stage 2 at Talladega finished? Remember that Chipper Jones, the Major League Baseball Hall of Famer, chimed in and called Joey Logano out, called him selfish? Well, after Joey's win at Texas this weekend, Chipper Jones took to X to take the high road, if you will. He posted, "Congrats to Joey Logano, a Hall of Fame driver with a masterful win. This is what NASCAR fans expect from you. Hard-charging wins and gracious top 5s and top 10s. Well done." My sarcasm detectors are on the fritz. That sounded genuine, I think. Anyway, Austin Cindric posted this reply this morning from the Penske team meeting. "We are so back at Joey Logano." Got a thumbs up there from Joey. And, the icing on the cake is Austin Cindric in the Atlanta Braves hat. Brilliant stuff. Glad to see they seem to be on the same page, or at least they're smiling big for the cameras there. But yeah, kind of a funny epilogue to last week's drama. The main topic I want to tackle in this video, however, is Team Trackhouse. Are they in trouble? Go back to 2022. The newness, the novelty of the next-gen car benefited Trackhouse more than anyone else. At that point, nobody had a good notebook. The Chevrolets seemed to find the right balance first. And as a result, Chastain won 2 races that season. Daniel Suarez got a race win as well. And Ross made it to the championship 4, finished 2nd. A huge, exciting moment for what was still a very new race team at the time. But while Trackhouse has continued to rack up a couple of wins a year since, they've looked nowhere near the championship form they showed in 2022. Ross Chastain has been grinding his way to top 10 finishes the past few weeks, but he's not running up front. Take Texas, for example. He earned 0 stage points, but clawed his way forward on the restarts. As friend of the channel Auto Racing Analytics noted, he's been very good at restarts this season and managed to pick up a second place finish. When you look at the points so far, Ross is 11th. Not bad, not quite 2022 levels, but not terrible. But stage points are a decent indicator of how consistently fast a team is running. Ross ranks 21st in the Cup Series in stage points earned this year. His teammate Daniel Suarez is 23rd, and Shane Van Gisbergen, thanks to Coda, is 24th. And if we look at the overall point standings this year, it gets even worse. I mean, Ross is 11th, like I said. Daniel Suarez is 25th, and rookie Shane Van Gisbergen is 35th, damn near last. Both Ross Chastain and Daniel Suarez expressed concerns this past weekend with Trackhouse's lack of consistent speed. Ross Chastain said this post-race on the Fox broadcast. Quote, "I just had no confidence in the car yesterday. The speed of the Trackhouse cars on Saturdays is just terrible. We're just not confident, all three drivers." Dang, so he's talking about how they unload, practice, qualifying. Ross Chastain's average starting position this year is 23.5. That's 8 positions worse than last year. Daniel Suarez is averaging a 26th place start. And SVG is averaging 30th. All three are among the worst in the Cup Series. Daniel Suarez, who remember only signed a 1-year extension for the 2025 season, discussed this lack of consistent speed this past weekend.
We have work to do. We haven't started the season as consistent and as fast as we would love to as a company. We have had some spikes of speed, but we have had more spikes of no speed than spikes of speed. So we have to just work on that. We changed a lot of things in the off season, in our process and in the structure of the team, and I don't feel that we're seeing the results of that just yet. I think it's gonna come.
You don't have to be an industry insider to note that Trackhouse has gone through some odd transitions lately. Ty Norris, who helped build this business from the start, left for Colleague Racing last fall. Pitbull, the celebrity investor and Trackhouse ambassador, suddenly announced that he had sold his stake in the team right before the Daytona 500. But all of that is public info. If you want to take an inside look, reporter Bob Pockris noted back in February that Trackhouse could be a team open to switching to a new manufacturer in the coming years. We know that reports have suggested Dodge could be close to making its NASCAR return. Honda rumors continue to swirl. Trackhouse is a Tier 1 Chevy team, but they're not Hendrick Motorsports, and they likely never will be. Hendrick, Penske, Gibbs are at the top, and sure, they have some of their aligned teams like Spire, like 2311, but then there are a lot of 3-car organizations in the next tier. That includes Trackhouse, Legacy Motor Club, RFK Racing, Front Row Motorsports, all teams that could theoretically be vying for the attention of one of these new manufacturers. Trackhouse does not look like a championship contending team right now, so maybe it would be worth the risk to join a new manufacturer like Dodge if it means they can truly be top of the totem pole. But that is all speculation, and any new manufacturer entering the sport is likely still a couple years away at least. But in the short term, there are some difficult decisions that Trackhouse may need to make, some tough questions they'll have to ask themselves. Like, do they keep Daniel Suarez? He's been with the team longer than anyone. He seems to have strong sponsor support from Freeway Insurance, Kubota. Being the only Mexican-born driver in the NASCAR Cup Series is a pretty big deal, especially now that Mexico City has been added to the Cup schedule. A lot of opportunity there. And speaking of opportunities, I don't know if there's a better opportunity out there for Daniel Suarez. If I'm in his shoes, I feel like Trackhouse is a really good situation. I would want to extend my stay there, but that's a decision Trackhouse might have to make. Shane Van Gisbergen, Connor Zilisch, or do they find a place for both of them in the NASCAR Cup Series? Zilisch is only 18 years old, but he's adjusted pretty well, I think, to the ovals on the Xfinity Series side. He's running better than SVG did the past couple of years, although Shane Van Gisbergen was in a Colleague car. Zilisch is with Junior Motorsports. You can't quite compare those two. Shane Van Gisbergen has been awful on the ovals so far in his first full-time Cup Series season. He has an average oval finish of nearly 30th to start the year, but he was really good at Circuit of the Americas, led the second most laps, very competitive as expected. Is Connor Zilisch, who will be 19 next year, ready to jump into the Cup Series full-time? Probably not. But is the team going to be patient with Daniel Suarez or with Shane Van Gisbergen, especially as he continues to develop his oval racing skills? Questions that need to be asked. Right now, in my opinion, Ross Chastain is clearly their anchor driver. He is their franchise player. At this point in the year, I think I would lean towards keeping Daniel Suarez for another season. He's made the playoffs 2 of the last 3 years, and right now he is a better all-around driver than Shane Van Gisbergen. Now, Watch Shane Van Gisbergen closely at Mexico City, Sonoma, Chicago. If he dominates those races, or if he wins any one of those races, then he has earned his spot at Trackhouse. But if he looks mortal, Kyle Busch outran him at Coda, I think we can say that with confidence. If Christopher Bell, William Byron, if Connor Zilic enters one of those races and outruns him, that's something Trackhouse will need to know, because if SVG can't dominate road courses, he has no place in the NASCAR Cup Series. That's just the reality. So right now, I would lean towards running it back as is. Find a spot for Zilic in Xfinity, allow him to keep developing, but it's only May. It's early May. Ask me again in July. That's when some of these difficult questions may need to get answered. By then, we'll have seen a few more road courses. We'll have seen Zilic and SVG hopefully develop their oval skills even more. I think we'll have a better picture by the midsummer. But right now, I would try to be patient if I was Trackhouse. Keep building the team with the blocks you have. And maybe, if Dodge comes knocking, gives you a ring, would be interesting to see what this team looks like in a few years, representing a brand new Cup Series manufacturer. This team feels the most established, the most ready of the teams that could possibly make that kind of a swap. Again, no inside information here. That is just speculation, me looking inside from the outside. I want to know what you think, though, down in the comment section below. Are you worried at all about Team Trackhouse right now? They are not as consistently fast as they were in 2022. That seems to be a fact, but clearly Chastain, even Suarez, finished top 10 at Texas. They are still capable of grinding out solid finishes when all goes their way. Let's move on. I want to wrap up this episode with my weekly Cup Series power rankings. Every week, I rank the top 10 fastest, best performing drivers and teams in the NASCAR Cup Series. Took some big swings this week, some significant changes, especially third on back. Let's see if your favorite driver made the cut. Let's see where they landed. Couple of honorable mentions. Chris Buescher had top 5 speed at Texas. Fluky flat tire cost him. We head to Kansas next, where he almost won last spring. And then Alex Bowman, I have to drop him out of the top 10. Couple of big mistakes on pit road at Texas Motor Speedway, cost them track position, got them wrecked. Also Chastain with all the top 10s and Logano getting the win recently, have to leapfrog him. So starting now at number 10, Bubba Wallace. The finishes have not been great the past few weeks. He only has one top 10 finish in the last 4 races, but he is still consistently grabbing stage points by the handful every single week. He is top 5 in the Cup Series in stage points earned. Same story this weekend at Texas before the restart wreck. That's why Bubba Wallace is still inside the top 10, just barely. At number 9, I have to drop Chase Elliott a couple of spots. Look, his teammates qualified top 5. Kyle Larson led the most laps, and all of his teammates earned a bunch of stage points. Chase Elliott earned 0. 16th place finish at a track he won at a season ago. Not a good sign. Look, Chase Elliott is a smooth, steady driver. He does not make catastrophic mistakes usually. He doesn't wreck his equipment. Would you believe he has a top 20 finish in every single race this season? That's extremely consistent. It's why he's still top 5 in points, but he's not top 5 in pace consistently. Nowhere close. That's why I have Chase Elliott back in the 9 spot. Up to number 8 is this week's winner, Joey Logano. Finally gets a win and finally gets a top 5. He's been top 10 in the regular season points all year. He's 4th right now in laps led. Texas was grueling. He qualified bad, mainly because he had to go out early as a result of the disqualification at Talladega, but he worked his way forward slowly but surely, didn't earn many stage points, if any. I think he earned a couple at the end of stage 2. It worked his way into the top 10 organically, caught a break with that Jesse Love spin and caution, gained him a couple more spots, got him up in the top 5, and then Joey went to work on the restarts like he does, took advantage of the chaos, the carnage to get the win. Shoot, Michael McDowell gave him a taste of his own medicine with that crazy block down the backstretch. Logano was unfazed. Joey Logano up to the 8th spot. I know I was somewhat critical of Trackhouse broadly speaking earlier, but I'll actually move Ross Chastain up a couple spots after his 2nd place showing. I think I said this earlier, but he does have 4 top 10s the past 5 weeks. I don't think he has top 5 speed, but he's finding a way to get good, solid results. just need to run better, get some stage points, qualify better. That would be the first step in the right direction. Chastain at 7. 6th. Despite spinning out late and finishing 21st, I'm going to move Tyler Reddick up a bit because he was fast. Earned 18 stage points on Sunday. Whew. Really, really good long run car. Unfortunately, the race ended with a series of short runs. Reddick is now top 5 in the regular season standings, and we're headed to one of 23XI's best tracks historically, Kansas Speedway. Although last year, if I recall, they were a little off, so hopefully they can bounce back here in 2025. Top 5. Christopher Bell has not led any laps in the past 4 races, but he does have 4 top 10s the past 5 weeks. They're still getting good finishes even when they don't have the car. Like Texas, they weren't a contender, did not have the right balance, but he still finished 9th. He has dropped to 6th in the regular season standings, but he's only 3 points out of 3rd. So it's real tight right there. Christopher Bell, very good start to the season still. He is 5th. At number 4, I have his teammate Denny Hamlin. Back-to-back bad finishes at Texas and Talladega. Texas, of course, the engine let go early. But don't forget, he entered the Easter break on a streak of first, second. And we're headed to Kansas this weekend where he has 7 straight top 10 finishes. His average finish at Kansas in the next gen era is 3.7. That's absurd. Look for Denny Hamlin to bounce back this weekend at Kansas Speedway. Top 3. I know y'all think I'm a homer, but I just believe in this team's speed, and he showed it again this weekend. Ryan Blaney. Just like his teammates, he qualified bad at Texas, but some of that was he had an early draw because of the early crash at Talladega. But Ryan Blaney passed so many cars at Texas, a track that is notoriously hard to pass people at. Kind of like Reddick, Ryan Blaney was extremely strong on the long runs. Unfortunately, the race ended with short runs. I did watch him on pit road a couple times in the clutch, and his pit crew seemed to do just fine. Remember, they have a new front tire changer now, hopefully tying that whole group together. You look at his teammates, Logano, Cindric, even Josh Berry have wins this year. We know Ryan Blaney's time is coming. He has so much speed in that 12 car. Blaney at 3. Top 2, Hendrick Motorsports. Let's start with William Byron. Had a top 10 run going at Texas, again got damaged on pit road, fell back, got trapped a lap down by the caution, still gritted out a 13th place run. That's not too bad, all things considered. It was enough to hold on to his regular season points lead, and looking ahead, a lot of intermediate tracks coming up. That tends to be Hendrick Motorsports' strong suit. It's part of why Kyle Larson is still in the number 1 position. Also, like I said, he led the most laps, won a stage, earned 17 stage points at Texas, finished inside the top 5, and shoot, if he doesn't mess up on that one restart that McDowell was able to jump past him on, Kyle Larson probably wins this race. He did a really good job on several restarts, but he messed up on that one and it cost him. He still got a top 5 finish, still 8 into Byron's points lead. Good enough for me to put Kyle Larson in the number 1 spot. We also head to Kansas Speedway where he is the defending spring race winner. There's my top 10 this week. Let me know down in the comment section if you agree or disagree with any of my rankings, and then tune back in next week after Kansas to see how they get updated. Leave a like if you enjoyed this video, subscribe for more NASCAR news, race reactions, commentary, and so much more every single day, every week, all year long. Big thank you to my generous Patreon supporters as well. I will talk with you again tomorrow. I have an episode of Power Hour, my podcast with Brennan Poole, coming out this week. I believe Carson Kvapil, Xfinity Series Rookie of the Year contender, will be our special guest. Should be a fun time, good conversation. Hope you're looking forward to that. Thanks for watching, folks. I will see you in the next episode.